All right, so this training is going to focus around using the advanced planning story journal to start an advanced planning incident. So we'll be walking through how to access the story journal and several other things throughout the training video. So there'll be timestamps in the captions or in the details below the video so that you can get to a specific section. So we'll be talking about creating a white sheet, downloading a list of the facilities, obviously adding facilities to the survey editor, taking a survey, and so on. And this is geared for the EPDR staff that are using this tool. So starting from the hub, so here's the hub, there's going to be a section, if you scroll down, that's going to say facility status report story maps, and you're going to access the advanced planning one. And again, this is all focused on advanced planning. So when you open up the advanced planning story map, it's going to bring you to this home page, landing page, and the first thing that you're going to want to do to get this event started and to get facilities into the survey editor and then see the survey results is you're going to want to open up the web app. So you just click the little icon here and it's going to open up the web app. So once you get the advanced planning web application opened, and for a lot of for most of our advanced planning incidents, we're probably, hopefully, going to be referencing some sort of shape or defined area that Cal OES or a partner agency has given us. So for this example, I'm just going to reference some burn scars, but in order to get that reference area on the map, you would need to have somebody add the layer to the map. So I'm not going to go too much into that. We have some processes on our team of how to get those. But for this, we already have a burn scar layer on here, so I'm just going to reference an area that there may be advanced planning for. So for this example, I'm going to turn on burn scars, and I'm just going to use this El Dorado and Apple burn scar area. So after I have my reference area, again, this could be any kind of reference area. It could be a weather forecast area. It could be stream gauges or anything like that. As long as it's on our map, you can reference it on the application and then begin to draw whatever area that you need. So I have my reference area. I'm going to then turn on what is called facility UAT, or just our universe of facilities. This is every facility that is in ELMS, and it creates a layer once a week. We grab all the new facilities, and then this is everything plotted that is in ELMS with all of its facility name, facility ID, and all that. What it doesn't have is a survey filled out for it, right? This is just referencing who is where, who is near this burn scar area, and we now need to create a survey for it, get all that into the dashboard, and then we can then take a survey for it. So the way to do that, now that I can see what facilities are near here, is I'm going to use the Smart Editor, which is this little tab right up here, and I'm going to draw a potential impact area. What this will do is tell the script that we have a geographic area or a polygon that we want to have the script look at. So for this, I'm just going to name it Advanced Planning. And we want to start every advanced planning incident just with a basic polygon, if I can spell it right, of just advanced planning. As the event grows or becomes more detailed, we can then scope out areas within this original polygon so that we can give it a new name so that we can call it out within the data set. So I'll go over the example of that later. So incident type, I'm just going to call this debris flow. There's a bunch of different incident types in there. If you want that to be something that you can sort by later, just make sure that you select it. You can always change it later, but originally what this is going to do is assign a survey for each one of these facilities with the event name as advanced planning and the incident type is debris flow. So the script is really looking at these two things and saying, hey, attach this information to the facilities that are in facility UAT, but create this like survey layer for them. So I'm going to save that here. So now I can see that I have my polygon. I can see what facilities it's supposed to be pulling in. But let's say I want to get a list of those facilities. So at this point, you can run a white sheet. You can do it a couple different ways, but let's just say I want to reference this exact shape that I drew because that's what the script is going to be doing. The script is going to be looking at this exact shape. So in order to do that, I can just simply click on the shape, click the three dots down here at the bottom, and I'm going to set location. Now, for most of our events, including fire, we have a default buffer of 5 miles. What that's doing is it's saying, okay, here's your polygon, but then draw a buffer of an additional 5 miles around that polygon. So to change that, we don't want that. We just want what's within this polygon. So I'm going to go down here to the buffer distance. I'm going to change it to 0, and I'm going to hit enter. At that point, you should then see the buffer that was around this polygon disappear, and then we're just going to see the polygon that we have listed here. So I'm going to then turn my layer back on so that I can see the facilities, right? And I'm going to click the print icon. I turn that layer back on so I can see when it generates the map on the white sheet, that I can see what facilities are on there. The white sheet looks to see whatever layers you have turned on. So if you don't have the layer turned on, it's not going to show up on the white sheet. So from here, I'm just going to click print. I'm just going to give this a default test name. And then what will happen is this is going to pull in a screenshot of that area from our map, and then it's going to pull in from the facility UAT layer what facilities are in that polygon. So it's not pulling anything from that script yet because we haven't ran the script. There are still no surveys generated because we have not ran the script. But at this point, because you drew a polygon, you can then use the white sheet to generate a list of the initial facilities, right? So you can access this list via the white sheet that you print, or you can come down here at the bottom table. There's a little tab where it says facilities, and you can download those into a CSV, right? So again, this is not facilities that are going to be showing up on the dashboard yet. This is just everything that is within that polygon, looking at the facility UAT layer, and then just giving you some basic information. So what district office it is, the facility name, the general contact, and the distance that it is from the center point of the polygon that you just drew. All right, so this should be what we need to just kind of generally get an idea of who's in that area. But again, nothing is going to be on our dashboard. It's all a separate process. We need to run the all hazard script to then generate facilities and have them be pushed into the survey layer. So at that point, we're going to access the all hazard script, which there's just a hyperlink up here. I'm going to go ahead and turn off my facilities. That's just one way that I like to do it so that I can see when I come back to the map if the script actually ran. So I have a script ready to go. Just going to click cell, click run all. And then from in here, if you want to make sure that it is running, you'll see that these fields right here start with an asterisk. When it begins to run, you should see a number be added to there. So see the number 1 just popped up. There should be a number 2 here, and then on down the line. So at this point, I'm just going to let this thing do its thing and pause the video, and then we'll come back after the script is ran. All right, so my script has successfully ran. One way that I know that just by looking at this notebook is because this number 12 has been updated. There's no longer an asterisk there, meaning that every row within this notebook has ran. It's not necessary to be able to know how to do that. If the script fails, you just want to submit a ticket to the CPHGIS team, but that's one way that I know that it ran. But the biggest way to know that it ran is by going back to the map. You might have to zoom in and out to kind of refresh it, but I can see that the facilities are showing up now. They all have a name. If you click this little drop down, you'll see a little legend here. They are symbolized by their operational status. So they come in defaulted with no operational status. It's just blank. The only value that has been assigned to it within the survey, other than its facility name, facility type, all that information that's coming from facility UAT, is a status of CHCQ monitored. So CHCQ monitored is how within the GIS part in the background that we identify that we want to see them on the map. It's just a simple binary yes or no field that we use to say, do we want to see you yes, or is this event over and removed from our map and all of our dashboards? Monitored status, no. So that's the only value that gets defaulted. So there's a couple things that we need to still do at this point to get things to go to where we want. So I can see they're in this layer, right? This is a good thing. I can see that it's got the facility name on the map. I should be able to click on these little individual dots and open up and have a link directly to the survey just for this facility. But you'll notice if you go to the advanced planning story journal, right? I don't have anything in this advanced planning survey editor yet. The facilities are in the layer, but this dashboard here is set up to see. It's meant to look at the records and say, are you part of an advanced planning incident? Yes or no. The way that we do that is we're going to use the batch editor now to edit the field for that question. So the batch editor, different than the smart editor. Smart editor is really just drawing a polygon to tell the script where to pull facilities into. Batch editor is all about editing the data within those survey results. One of the survey results that we need to edit right now is advanced planning. So you can use any of these shapes down here to just draw around the facilities, right? You're not really you are creating a polygon, but not for the purposes of like an ArcGIS thing. This is just saying which facilities or which area do you want to edit the records for. So there is a maximum input for this of how many records you can edit at one time, and that is 1,000. So if you're going to be editing more than 1,000 records, you would need to draw around those facilities until you get every facility on the dashboard that you need. So I drew around the facilities. I can tell that it's selected them all because these big purple circles show up. I'm going to expand this. And this is essentially a place where you can batch edit any survey answer. So what we're trying to do here is we want to get the facilities into this advanced planning dashboard. It's pretty simple. So I'm going to find the advanced planning question. It is currently no. I want to change it to yes. And then another thing that we want to do is make sure that since none of these facilities have been contacted yet, have they been contacted and assessed? That answer is no, right? And what that does is it change. The field is originally blank when the facilities come into the survey, but if we want to start seeing who we have contacted and who we haven't, we need to give it an indicator, and they're all going to start with no unless the facility has been contacted. So right now, all I'm doing is assigning these as they are advanced planning and they have not been contacted. I'm going to scroll down to the bottom. I'm going to click save. Takes just a minute for the information to update on the back end. But now when I go to my advanced planning survey editor, you can see they just shoved in. I'm going to have my facilities for this event in the survey editor ready to go, right? So at this point, you've done everything that you've needed to do to get the facilities into the dashboard. Now, none of them have had any surveys taken for them, but now we have the ability to do that. So I'm going to pop out the survey editor here just to give you a look at how to access a survey, show you the different filters that are on here in case you need to filter by district office or something different. So remember when we gave the polygon a name, the original polygon that we used for the smart editor, we called it advanced planning. So all of these facilities, you'll see their hazard name is advanced planning. That's what the script did. It just attached the name of the polygon to the facility. The additional thing is we can filter by district office. We have 2 different district offices in here. If you want to see specific ones, you just select them. I believe that this is organized by facility name is how they're categorized or sorted, and then the district office is the second sort. So alphabetical by facility name and then alphabetical by district office. We don't have any operational statuses yet, so there's not going to be anything to filter by. We don't have any evac statuses, but remember on the batch editor, we did give it, have they been assessed, yes or no? None of these have been assessed, right? They all have assessed and contacted no. That was part of that batch editor feature that we assigned a value to. So let's say that you want to search for a facility. Okay, so terrace view. I can use the search bar up here, right? And I can search by facility name, and it's going to pull up the link to the survey, and I'm going to open up the individual survey. So at this point, we're going to focus on the survey form a little bit, just kind of briefly walking through the form and show you kind of how it works. So you'll see these fields here. These are read-only. This is all coming in from facility UAT. There shouldn't be a point for us to, within this form, change the facility name or facility ID. So all this stuff is pretty much static information. As I scroll down, you can see, yes, this facility is monitored. That's part of the default process of when the script runs. I can see their advanced planning. That was what I changed via the batch editor. I can assign an incident type. I can go through and select the operational status. So let's just say for this, I want to say it's operational, and I have contacted it. Now, when you change this field, you'll see that this icon up here, this little red dot, now means it's a required field to answer. So I cannot submit this survey without having an operational status assigned to it. The operational status can be unknown, but you have to answer that question. You also have to answer the evacuation question. And you can see evacuation status is required. So if you click submit, you're going to submit this form, you're going to get an error. The way to solve that error is to either go back and say, hey, you were not contacted, and the requirement goes away, or you were contacted, and we are now going to give you a status. Let's just say for this example, I'm going to say that they are non-operational short-term. I'm going to say that they are partially evacuated. Now, there's a question that pops up asking more details about the evacuation if you mark that the facility was either partially, fully evacuated, or repopulating. So if you mark any of these three, you're going to get a field down here, patient relocation details, where you can then add in where the patients went to. So let's just say that they were discharged. There was 2. And then for this specific evacuation, you can add additional comments to that. Because we know that during different evacuations, there needs to be a little bit more clarity about the specific relocation of these 2 patients, so that allows that to be added in. Let's say you need to add another, you had another group of patients that went somewhere, click the plus icon, you can then add in the details about that. At this point, that's the minimum information that needs to be pulled in. Obviously we want operational status comments and so on, but if we don't have them, we can still submit this form without those. A lot more information on here to be filled in if needed. This is where would be a good idea, the total number of patients evacuated from the facility. We want this to be the sum. We know that sometimes when we contact a facility, they may know that 20 patients have been evacuated, but they don't know exactly where those 20 went. But that's good information to go ahead and submit into the form. So let's just say for this example, we know that 20 have been evacuated, but we really only have information about these 2 that were discharged. So you can always go back to the form and edit the information here, or add a new relocation detail just by clicking the plus icon. So at this point, I'm just going to submit. It takes about a minute for the record to update on the back end. It didn't even take that long. So I can see, hey, I marked them non-operational short-term. They're partially evacuated, right? I'm only seeing 1 facility because I still have my name, the name of the facility typed in. If I want to go back to my big list, exit out, all I did was click the little X button there, and it's going back and show this list of facilities. So let's say at this point we want to batch edit all of these facilities to operational or something. So I can go back here, I'm back at my map. All right, let's say I want to update all of the records for this event. That's done via the batch editor. Batch editor, I'm just clicking this so that I can draw a polygon. It's going to give me a little square, and I'm going to open up all of the questions here, and I'm going to find op status, and I'm going to go down here and I'm going to change them to operational, and I'm going to go to evac status, and they are not evacuated. So I can see that they changed to green. In my little legend, green means operational. Go back to my dashboard. This probably will take about a minute to refresh. If you ever worry, you can just click the refresh button on here and it should show you what's going on. So this is all about using the survey editor for an individual facility or using the batch editor to edit multiple records. Let's go down and see our survey responses. So this dashboard focuses on seeing how, displaying all the answers to the survey questions. So down here at the bottom, there's a little scroll bar, and you can scroll over and you can see every question that's part of the survey. Right, and I can even see where I filled out that number 20 for the facility. So I'm not going to go through taking how to answer every question on the survey, but those can be done via individually, right? Clicking a link, going just to one survey, or going to the map and batch editing several records at once. It doesn't have to be all of them. It could be 5 or 6 or whatever, but you can do it 2 different ways. So a couple more details about the survey results dashboard. We've added the advanced planning charts. So at this time, this could always change, but at this time, this will display charts showing how information from the survey is being processed. So how many are operational, how many are not evacuated. This is focusing on the lost power question and then what their power status is. We've added in a legend. This will continue to grow too. So right now it's really defining how we identify facilities, how we monitor facilities, what all that stuff means. You can scroll down and see more information about that. And this will continue to grow. Just at this time, this is what we're using it for. We have a map in here. This is really meant for just anybody who has the story journal to not really have any editing access or anything like that. It's just a copy of our web app, but with none of the features built in. So there is no editing that they can do. They can really just see the facilities here. And then this surveys edited today. This is looking at the edit field of the data to see who has an edit date of today. So currently all of these facilities will, because we just began this event on February 27th. But let's say on the February 28th, they will all disappear because none of them will have an edit date of today. We're not losing their record. This is just showing who has an edit date of today. So this is a way for our team to go and quickly look and see who took the survey today. You can do that via this tab right here, surveys edited today. There's also additional fields if you want to look and see the specific edit date. You can go back to the survey results tab in here, see who edited it and what the date was. Right. So at this point, let's say that we want to run a white sheet again, or get a list of these facilities that have been pulled into the script. 2 different ways that you can do that. One is going to be clicking the 3 dots here, view an attribute table, right? So I'm on this layer right here. This is the survey layer, and I want to know what all records are in here. So all I did to pull this into this attribute table was click the 3 dots, view an attribute table. Down here, I'm going to see all the facilities, right? It should be an exact replication of what's in the dashboard. So you can click options and export to CSV. You'll get a list of everything. You'll get a list of the whole, how they answered every survey question, all the information from facility UAT, all of that. So you can see all this stuff is blank because we have not taken the survey for them, but all that information is in here. The other way to do that would be once the dashboard is populated, you can click the little download icon here and it will then download directly from the dashboard. So 2 different ways to do the exact same thing. It's just whichever way you want to do it. If you want to do it from the dashboard or do it from the web app. So at this point, we have everything in here that we want for our burn scar area, right? So we've walked through, we've generated our white sheet, we've taken a survey, we got all the facilities into the survey editor. Let's say that the incident at this point expands from identifying facilities that are near El Dorado and Apple burn scars to we are actually being requested to follow up with specific facilities that are very close to the area or have impacts. So let's say that from this original identified area, we want to now scope it out and say, these are facilities that we specifically want the district office to follow up with. So the way that we're going to do that is we already have all of our facilities in here. We're going to batch edit the hazard name field. So if you remember, all of these facilities came in with the hazard name of advanced planning. What we want to do is now identify facilities from within this advanced planning area to a different hazard name. So the way I'm going to do that is I'm just going to, for example here, let's just say that Juniper Manor, Windsor House, this Mira Villa, and let's just say these facilities over here are ones that we're specifically concerned about. So by running the script and drawing this polygon, we've identified all 25 of these facilities. But now I need to change the name of the hazard so that we can see from the dashboard who was just identified for advanced planning versus who we're actually going to tell the district office to follow up with. So they'll need an indicator to know who that is. So the way that we're going to do that is go over to our little area here. I'm going to zoom in so that I can see the specific facilities in this location a little bit better. Then I'm going to grab the batch editor, right? And I'm going to click this icon. It's a freehand polygon, and that's just because I'm going to be drawing a more intricate shape than just a normal square. So I want to draw, so I need to press and hold. I'm going to draw around, let's just say we want to do all these facilities over here too. So what this did was it said, hey, you drew a polygon via the batch editor around these facilities. And you're saying, I'm going to open up this box because I want you to edit a field of the survey. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to change the hazard name of these facilities from advanced planning to burn scar evacuation. I'm going to click save. So now when I go to the dashboard, I'm going to have two hazard names that I can select from. I'm going to go back to the survey editor, and I can already see that within this dashboard that there's been some hazard names that have changed. And that's good because I want to be able to differentiate between who is just advanced planning and identified versus the facilities that actually are having an evacuation and we need to figure out what's going on with them. So from here, I can go to burn scar evacuation. I can see I got 12 facilities now that I would need to take a survey for specific to this hazard. I can then see additionally which district office they're a part of just by filtering. So at this point, this is where you could send your notification to the district office saying, hey, we've identified 25 facilities for advanced planning, but from that 25, we now have 12 that are actually near this burn scar that we actually need you to follow up with to see if they're prepared to evacuate or whatnot. And then from there, the district office would be able to set the dashboard just to see those facilities and then access the individual records for them. The district office doesn't have any batch editing capability. We really don't we don't need to give them that at this point, but we could always go back and batch edit additional information or batch edit survey information if needed. So at that point, we can see, not necessarily from the map, because we don't know who, the batch editor didn't draw, it doesn't save its polygon, but from the dashboard, we'll be able to see which facilities we're specifically concerned about. We can add in another feature where we could draw a polygon on here that would stay so that from within this original advanced planning area, we can see who specifically we called out, but we don't have that yet built out. But you could click on the facility and see, which hazard name it is identified for, or you could filter by hazard name and see which facilities are just for that. So the way that I'm doing that is I'm going up to the filter icon here, and I'm wanting on this map to just see the facilities that are part of the burn scar evacuation. So I'm going to select its name from down here. I'm going to turn, make sure that the filter's on, and I can see just the ones that I've pulled in versus all facilities for this advanced planning incident. So you won't see the polygon, but we can definitely add that feature in, but you will be able to see from the map just the facilities that you are concerned about. So if somebody said, hey, just show me the ones that are part of this burn scar evacuation event, right? Filter, select the name, turn the filter on, and then I can see that this is really of the whole advanced planning monitored area who we're concerned about. So those are the key concepts that I really wanted to cover for our team. Again, there will always be more information to kind of look at, but I think at this point, this is the key stuff for this video. So thanks for watching. All right, so before we wrap this up, there's just one more thing that I wanted to highlight on the survey responses dashboard. So if you go to the survey responses dashboard, over here on the left, you'll see this little icon, and here's some additional filters that you have to filter the dashboard. So these are tied to the specific questions from the survey. So any answers that are in here, again, there's no surveys filled out, but any of the survey answers that are submitted, you should be able to filter through over here on the side. So just some additional questions to help you maybe find a facility or a specific answer that you're looking for. And then you can also view facilities that have a certain edit date if you want to see when the last time that a facility was edited. So you would just select your date timeframes here. So that's an additional thing. And then again, surveys edited today has its own little tab over here on the bottom. So those are going to show you who has an edit date of today. But if you need to look specifically to see when a facility may have been updated, you can input the date parameters here. All right, so closing this event down. So removing all of these facilities, getting this burn scar evacuation and advanced planning incident done or over with, and getting all the facilities out of the dashboard. How do we do that? So pretty simple, hopefully simple and straightforward thing here. So we're going to go back to the advanced planning web app. So this can really only be done from here, or an individual survey. You can actually take an individual survey and say that it is no longer monitored, and it will remove it. But as long as there's that polygon there and you rerun the script again, it would probably pull that facility back in, because anything that's within a polygon is going to be pulled in. So that's why we need to delete the polygon. So the first thing we're going to do is just click on the polygon. It should bring up this little box here, 3 dots, Smart Editor, and we can delete the polygon. Polygon is now removed. Does not remove the facilities though. This is just telling the script, hey, there's no longer a polygon for me to run against to intersect against the facilities. Next step is going to be opening up the batch editor, and then we're going to select all the facilities. Again, there's 1,000 entry maximum, so you can't edit more than 1,000 facilities. So we're going to change the field of CHCQ Monitored to no. This goes back to that binary thing that on our maps is looking for, are you monitored, yes or no? So we're going to change it to no, because we no longer want to see it on the dashboards or on the map. And then we can additionally change advanced planning to no as well. Then lastly, we're just going to click save. You'll see the facilities will be wiped from the map. And then I think in about a minute or so, you would see, I'm just going to get out, so that they already removed from the survey editor, and then they have additionally removed from the dashboard here. So that's concluding how to finish an event. Be sure to look at the timestamps in case you need to refer to a specific location.